Welcome to Snacktime with Mack and Ash, the podcast where we talk to interesting people about their lives, their dreams, and most importantly, their snack obsessions. I'm your local resident snack queen, Ashley Haystone, alongside my favorite snack enthusiast and co-host, Mac Urban III. Mac, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling like a bag of chips. I'm half full, but at the same time, half empty. I feel like I've been lied to about how many chips are actually in the bag, but I guess it depends on how you look at the bag.
I'm team half full. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you've always been the optimist. I've been more the realistic pessimist. I think eventually all the chips in the bag get eaten, so just make the best of it.
I wonder what our guest will think about this.
Me too. I think we should ask her.
I feel like I'm being part of a psychological experiment right now, and all of the information that I've gleaned over the years of knowing you is kind of filling out exactly like I would think that it was. Mac, I would definitely say you're a bag half empty kind of guy, and I mean that in the best way possible. Whereas Ashley's always going to be like, "Hey, there's still chips left, yay!" So,
Well, hold on. We don't even know who you are yet. I haven't even gotten to the intro
you
part
don't
of the
need to know
script.
who I am.
That's true, but the people do. And
I'm
that's
the
what we're
mystery.
doing this for.
I am the mystery snack empress.
Okay, so you may have just heard her speak, but yes, we do have a very special guest for our first episode. She's held a lot of titles over her career. She's a Sacramento-based journalist, a former editor of the Sacramento News and Review, former feature writer at the Sacramento Bee, and she's currently a faculty professor at American River College and is the advisor of the student newspaper at ARC, the American River Current. And as both Ashley and myself can tell you, she's a bit of a snack dealer by trade. So please welcome to Snacktime, Ms. Rachel Leibrock.
Hi, thank you for having me. And yes, I think that is my most important title these days is snack dealer. And it's kind of what's made me saddest about the pandemic. I mean, not the saddest about the pandemic, but one of the things that I am mourning is my ability to buy snacks for people and give them away. So it's one of those unexpected sort of losses that I've had.
It's been hard not to see my trail mix on my desk. Just to let you know, it's been pretty hard.
So what you're saying is I should send you a care package of trail mix.
I mean, there's Postmates, so
Yeah. There are ways. Yeah.
There are ways.
All right, so
snacks are important.
Let's jump right into the most important question, the most pressing issue we have on the agenda for today. Rachel, what would you say is your favorite snack?
That is such a tough question. In the past, I would have said that it was something sweet because I do have a real sweet tooth. But lately, I have really embraced the power of carbo loading. And so like crackers with cheese, something salty and crunchy, maybe a handful of like almonds or something like that. Yeah. Lots of salt.
I feel like that's what a lot of non-sweet snacks do. They have a lot of salt in them.
Yeah,
I know. It's all about the sweet snacks for me. But, speaking of crackers, I know that you're you have a special cabinet for your crackers that I found when I was house sitting for you. And
yeah.
The thing is though,
I mean, there's a reason why there were all those crackers.
Mm-hmm.
You want to bust me on the crackers. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay. Hold on. Quit. I need to say this though, Rachel. One thing that upset me is that you had all these crackers and like no dip, and that's a felony.
That is true. That is what we consider a snack crime. Yes.
Okay. That is a crime against snack humanity. I don't know how to make that into a pun. But so the whole deal was that we had some people over for the holidays. This was back when you could actually have people in your house and like, socialize with people. And so we had crackers. And at one point we had dips and cheeses, but I was cleaning out the refrigerator before we went on our travels, which is when you were house sitting, which is why you just had all these dry, salty, crunchy crackers, but nothing to put on them. So I apologize. But yeah, Ashley texted me while I was in Europe to inquire about the boxes upon boxes of crackers that had nothing to dip them with. Sorry.
It's very sad.
We still have a lot of crackers, but I have cheese and other things now to put on them.
What kind of crackers?
Oh goodness, what kind do I not have? Oh, actually, you know what? So we have all these like those kind of fancy like table crackers, like they come in the long boxes, and the wafers and I don't even know all the names, but lately I've just been really into the club crackers, those really small ones that are buttery. Somehow we had a box of them. I don't know where they came from, and I've just been snacking on them for the last few months. So those are my favorite right now. No shame.
I'm glad you redeemed yourself. You have sides now, because that was terrifying.
I don't just sit around and like stuff my face with dry crackers. I just want you to know that. So,
but no disrespect to people who do. You know, we feel you out
no,
there as well.
you do you.
Yeah,
but
you do you. I'm
really
judging you.
It really seemed Ashley was bothered, and I could tell even halfway across the globe that she was not happy with me.
Well, I mean, Ashley gets bothered by a lot of things, I would say. So
yeah,
especially when it's food related.
True.
Okay, but we don't want this to be just a solely food podcast. You know, our whole point was to talk to interesting people as well. So, Rachel, I want to ask you, what inspired you to become a writer or a journalist?
I have enjoyed writing ever since I learned how to read. So my mom taught me how to read before I started school. So I think I was about 4 years old, 4 or 5. And I started I think, kind of trying to copy the storybooks that she would read me. I liked the storytelling aspect of it. And I've always liked writing. And then when I was in high school, I had the chance to take an elective class. And I think just because I liked writing, I decided to sign up for the newspaper. I had really no clue as to what journalism was at that point, except that we got the paper every day at my house. So I grew up reading the paper. But yeah, I joined the paper as a junior in high school and just really loved it. Just loved being able to learn about things that were outside of my normal sphere. And I'm also really shy in real life. In journalism, like kind of it gave me the ability, like an excuse to like go up to people and talk to them and kind of tap into this other more extroverted side of myself that I didn't know existed. So I think it helped me become a better person in that way.
You know, I found a lot of people in journalism are kind of lean more towards the introverted side, which was something I didn't really expect when I first signed up. You know, I certainly had to find a way to get out of my shell too.
Yeah, try being sorry, go ahead.
Well, I know. I mean, yeah, Ashley, you're definitely more on the extroverted side, but I would say I think my experience is that it does skew higher towards introverted, but introverted with, I think, the same sort of tendency that I have, that I can be extroverted in certain situations, and I welcome it. I like having a chance to talk to people and get to know them, but I'm shy and I've got like anxiety. And so sometimes it's like I need that quote unquote, end quote, excuse to do it. There are some extroverted people. We have like the rare unicorns like Ashley who want to just go up and talk to everybody. But I spend a lot of time talking to students about, you can have these two different sides to your personality, and they're both perfectly compatible with each other. You just have to kind of know how to turn it on and off. And I think, I can't speak for you, Ashley, but I'm sure that, there's, probably there's a side to you that likes to, kind of be by yourself as well and recharge. And I think none of us are just one or the other.
Oh, definitely. I think like after like even for me, I get really drained after like interviewing people and stuff and writing the article. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
yeah. But it can be like, it's interesting being in a room full of introverts, like in the newsroom on the Current. I'm like, hi everyone, let's do things. Everyone's like, go away.
Mac is smiling and nodding.
It's social battery is a real thing, for people. Like you have to have advanced knowledge of getting ready to do something. You have to mentally prepare yourself to do something. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for me to agree to something extremely last minute on the fly like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We all have our different ways, I think, of putting ourselves out there. And I think it's just whatever way that you find that works for you in this particular industry, at least, you just embrace that. And I don't think there's any wrong or right to it, as long as you can tap into it in some way.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. I wanted to know, like, how did you get like your break, your journalism break?
So I was in college. I was at Sac State, and I had an instructor there who I really connected with. And I think I was on the Hornet first I mean, I know I was on the Hornet first semester, but it might have been around this time frame. But my instructor was friends with somebody who had been his student, who was an editor at News and Review, and they were looking for an intern. And so my instructor thought that I would be a good fit for it and recommended me for the internship. And I went in for this interview, and I mean, right away, I mean, I had been reading News and Review at that point, of course, but right away I knew that it wouldn't be like a typical internship, because really, like, the person who interviewed me, like, asked me like what my favorite music was at the time, how would I interview a band, he wanted to know sort of like what kind of offbeat story ideas that I had, as opposed to what kind of experience I was bringing into it. So anyway, I got that internship, and I just had a lot of like opportunities to write and actually get published, and to kind of try some experimental things. And when I was an intern, I was also taking another class from the same instructor, and it was a literary journalism class that required you to spend a long time on a story and really immerse yourself in it. I don't this Okay, it is a family-friendly story. I'll say that, but it's also not family-friendly.
I
So
mean,
my
I don't think we really care.
Nah,
yeah.
at this point, no.
So my story that I pitched to both my editor and to my instructor was I wanted to go to these strip clubs, and they weren't like full strip clubs. They were called juice bars. I don't think they have them anymore in Sacramento. But the whole thing was that they didn't serve alcohol, they served juice. And because they didn't serve alcohol, the women could be entirely nude, whereas at a bar that served alcohol, they could only be topless at the time. So I did this story of like going to all these different juice bars and interviewing women, and kind of spending a lot of time with them. And I like kind of befriended this one woman, spent a lot of time with her. She kind of became the central kind of figure character in my story. And so I think that was my first cover story for News and Review. And I was still in college. I was an intern. It was really, as you can imagine, it was like really thrilling and exciting for me at the time. And anyway, after my internship ended, I did an internship at Channel 10, I think, for a summer. And that was okay. It was interesting, but I thought that I wanted to go into TV, but after I did that internship at Channel 10, I realized I really liked the deeper writing side of it. And so I ended up freelancing and then got a job with them. And that's really just sort of how I got on the path that I ended up on.
While like doing your story, like, what was like your favorite thing to snack on?
The juice bar story?
Oh yeah, I mean, like,
or any
like,
story, or any story.
Any story, but the juice bar story would be funny.
Probably, gosh, okay, I really don't remember with the juice bar story, because I remember a lot from that story. But I think in general, when I write, it is a mix of salty snacks, so like almonds and cheese and crackers. That's like if I'm being healthy and I want to just like actually have brain power. But my secret stash snack is like I love gummy bears, and I love also like any sort of sour candy. And so something like I'll get like a couple of gummy bears, or we have these I bought these cinnamon bears recently, and they're really big. They're like an inch and a half big or something, and so they're like kind of like Red Hots, but these giant gummy bears. So that's the kind of like that's my I wrote a couple of sentences. Now I need to treat myself, because it's all about like that sort of bribing I don't know about you guys, but when I'm writing, I have to bribe myself to like, okay, cool. I wrote a sentence. That was a good sentence. I can get up. I can walk around the room now, have a drink of water, maybe get a piece of candy. Or I wrote another sentence. I wrote a whole paragraph. I can have lunch now. So it takes a while for me to ever write.
Same.
Yeah, I definitely have that kind of pacing method. I do it a lot more with like academic writing, but if I'm doing like a long feature or something like that, I can definitely like taking breaks after every couple of graphs or something like that.
Yeah, because writing those paragraphs it can be exhausting. Writing, especially if you're writing something with a lot of complex ideas, it's like putting together this puzzle, and so you have to like let your brain do something else. I don't do this as much, but I used to a lot of times when I was writing, and I think this fits into this, is that I would, if I was stuck or I had writer's block, I would go bake something because it would just use my brain in this different way. And I could, a lot of times, if I was thinking about baking and measuring, it would kind of like let my brain free up a little bit and then suddenly kind of solve a writing problem without me even intending to do that. So I feel like I should get back into that. But then I'd have just a house full of baked goods.
I mean, is that really a bad thing?
Yeah, you could bring some over here.
Except, I was going to say, there's only 2 of us in this household, so there's only so many baked goods that we can eat. But yeah, I should share them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been informed by Ashley that Courtney Love wanted to or threatened to kick your ass. Can you shine some light on that story, please?
Yes. So this is going to take us back to the olden days, as if everything else didn't take us back there.
You mean March 2019?
Right. So okay. So when I was still interning at News and Review, I wrote this story. This is back in the olden days of AOL, and they had these AOL chat rooms. So kind of like, just like any sort of like a Facebook group, except that a lot of time people would post stuff and then you go and like respond to their post. And Courtney Love, there was a AOL chat room for the band Hole, which was, her band at the time. And I was a part of that chat room. And then this other woman that I knew was in that chat room. And there was this whole discussion in that chat room that Courtney Love facilitated about whether, this is supposed to be family friendly, right? Okay.
No, it can be however you want it.
So there was this whole discussion about whether or not her breasts were real, whether or not she'd had a boob job. And she was like a big part of this conversation and had told my friend Carla that they weren't. And anyway, I'm not going to get into all the details about it. But so when I was interning at News and Review, I was young and fresh faced. And, I was somebody who knew about technology in a way that a lot of my coworkers didn't. So, and first of all, the fact that I was even online, a lot of my coworkers at that point weren't regularly online. Anyway, and it translated into my editor wanted me to write a story about the culture of these chat rooms and like what kind of people gravitated towards them, and the fact that actual celebrities were like participating in them as well. And Courtney Love had like verified in another like sort of mainstream media outlet that was really her in this chat room, like, interacting with people. So I ended up writing this story about it. And my friend at the time got the story, like found had the print edition. She this friend of mine lived in Vacaville, but she got the print edition of the story and somehow like mailed it to Courtney Love, and Courtney Love didn't like the story. And in the whole chat room, basically told me not to come to Lollapalooza, which was like the big touring music festival at the time. And she's like, you can't come to Lollapalooza. And I'm like, you can't make me not come to Lollapalooza. So I told my editor this. And so naturally he assigned me to go cover Lollapalooza. So I got press passes, and I took my own photos for this story. So I had a camera, and I made this t-shirt. I bought this white t-shirt, and I wrote, so my AOL screen name at the time was Turtle Zen, which is a long story that I won't explain, but I wrote on it, Turtle Zen Hearts Courtney, and I wore it. And I stood up there. Sorry, there's a siren. I don't know if you can hear
It's all
that.
good.
She's coming for me. So I wore this t-shirt and I was standing in the pit because I had the photo pass. So I was taking photos and I was like, had the camera and I was like taking photos of her. And she saw me and with the t-shirt and she stopped. She was like playing guitar. She stopped and she looked down and she was all, Rachel, is that you? I was all, hi. She's like, what did she say? She said, you better write nice things about me or else I'm going to kick your ass. And then she laughed. So I don't think she was really going to kick my ass. But yeah, that was sort of my mini claim to fame at the time. Yeah.
So
That's
did
so
you go there
awesome.
with that t-shirt, like with the express intent to provoke a reaction from her?
I did. I was so unjournalistic of me. Please don't tell all my students. I had no objectivity whatsoever, but I was working for News and Review, so I didn't really need to have the objectivity. The Bee would not have allowed me to have done that, or I would have never written for them again at the time. But no, in fact, by the time I got back, the next day I went back to the office and the top editor of the paper was just like so excited that she had threatened to like kick my ass in front of like thousands upon thousands of people. And and so of course I wrote about it. I wrote a review and worked that into it. Yeah,
That's so
sort of
cool.
like when I die, that will go into my obituary, I hope.
That's like my dream. Like if I'm ever shooting a concert and someone just stops, like, hey, like I don't know.
It could
That's
still
like,
happen. It could still happen.
oh yeah, probably not now.
Dream big.
I must say I haven't been threatened on the job yet. I'm not sure if I want to experience that, but
Yeah,
it
I
does
mean,
make
it
for an
depends
interesting
on.
story.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on who who you're being threatened by. Courtney Love, I think I could take. I wouldn't say that about everybody.
All right, we'll make
Yeah.
a separate note to put that in the title. I think I
Yeah,
can take
right.
Courtney Love.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good title. Well, we're talking about your career as a journalist, but like now we can kind of get into the whole the teaching side of you, that professor
Mhm.
side of you. And I always wondered, like, what do you snack on while you're grading papers? And have you ever made a mess on papers as you were, grading them?
Yes. I try to be careful. Occasionally there will be like, oh, is that chocolate on that paper that I'm grading? Coffee stains though, really. I drink so much coffee. And so I think that's usually the biggest, like you have your coffee mug and you put it down accidentally on a stack of papers and then you have the coffee ring. So I always have to apologize for that or try to clean up my mess when that happens. That's the good thing about teaching online right now is I'm grading everything virtually, so there's no like breadcrumbs trail, so to speak, of how messy I am. But yeah, grading is powered by a lot of carbohydrates and a lot of coffee.
I was gonna say that's the same like when I'm doing homework.
Yeah, it's the same concept.
So something Ashley and I have experience with is every deadline day for ARC student paper, or every day you send the print edition to publish, you provide a bunch of snacks for the writers and the editors to snack on. Why do you do that?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the first couple of issues that I did that you guys did, and Ashley, you weren't on this paper that first semester, but Mac
Oh
was.
yeah, no.
So I think the first time that we had a production day, I had done this at a different school, but the way we did it was a little bit differently. And my co-advisor at the time would always get a pizza, which was great. Students would love that. But then I started doing it, and I think I wasn't prepared for how late we were going to be there. And I remember the
Oh,
first
yeah.
production day kind of like, all right, it's 8:00, it's 9:00, and we're still working on this. I'm like, where's the vending machine? I need to go get some food. My brain is starting to short circuit. I think I realized
Yeah.
like by the third and Mac, I don't even know if you remember any of this, but there was just a point where we were having these really long nights and I just brought in and let me tell you, the first time I brought in snacks, it was like nothing compared to what I started to bring in. It was literally like, a bag of trail mix and a couple of bags of chips or something. And so that kind of just powered us through those last production nights of the first semester. And then the following semester, Mac, I think you weren't even on the paper that semester. That was the
Yeah,
break.
I had taken my sabbatical at that point.
You had
This
taken your
was all
sabbatical.
2017.
I thought that I had just like scared you off for good. I was like, okay, sorry. But Ashley was there, and so I think there was one day I brought in, again, sort of an anemic mix of snacks, not anything like what I do now when we're on campus, but I brought in some chips and some trail mix, and I put the trail mix in the lab where the computers were. And I still remember just like at the end of the night I'm going to have some trail mix. And there was just this little sad bag of like 10 almonds left because Ashley doesn't like almonds, apparently. But
Oh my God.
like I realized, I think there was just a point where I realized if I'm getting tired and cranky and, my blood sugar's getting low, then I think everybody else is suffering from that. And I know that when I was college age, I didn't always plan ahead for food very well. And so I thought, I can kind of feed you guys and motivate you guys and kind of try to keep you in one place long enough to get the paper done so that you're not wandering around campus after hours trying to find a vending machine that works like I did that one time. So I just started like bringing in more stuff, and then it just kind of snowballed into something out of my control to the point where like you should really get my husband's opinion on all of this because we go to Costco and he's like, they are going to think that just the two of us, like we are just the biggest junk food eaters. And I try to get healthy stuff, but you can't deny the power of Pringles or Doritos or Oreos or all that kind of stuff. I throw in the trail mix and the healthy stuff, and I also know what disappears first. It's true.
How much money do you think you spent on these snacks for the current?
So I think I was spending probably at least $50 a month, and that doesn't include the pizza that I would get on the final production day. So I will say that I've been saving money these last few months. Yeah, probably like $100 a month on you little rats.
No virtual pizza money, huh?
I know.
No.
How much money? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, specifically, how much money do you think you spent on Ashley alone compared to the rest of the
let me just get out a spreadsheet. More than enough. The girl requires special trail mix. I have to go and like stand and look at the ingredient list and see which either don't have almonds or at least like really low almonds are really low on the ingredient list so that she doesn't have to ferret them out. Yeah.
I get sad. I get so sad like when I see so much almonds and like not enough M&Ms, I'm like, what is this?
The almonds are the parts that are good for you. That's the part that's going to like give you the brain power and the energy. No? Okay.
Nah.
Ashley said, give me a bag of trail mix, hold the trail and the mix. Just give me a bag of M&Ms.
Yeah, but then,
I should just cut out the middleman. Yeah.
But sometimes I like the little obstacles. I don't know.
So we've talked about your snack budget for feeding the kids and the students on the paper, but what's your snack budget like every other month? When you go regular grocery shopping, how much money do you think you allocate towards snacks?
I don't know if I've ever tried to break it down. I will say that it's like ever since we all went into lockdown quarantine, my food budget seems to have skyrocketed. And maybe that's because there's nothing else to do other than just curate good snacks. I always like to have a good array of various nuts and crackers and little tiny sweet things and cheese, like little cheese wheels and stuff like that. So I probably spend quite a bit on snacks. I'm not going to lie. I'm a snacker.
Your snacks.
I mean, let's not forget. Let's just say Ashley calls herself the snack queen. Who gave her that title?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Rachel did give me that title.
Yeah. You'd be nowhere without my snack divinity.
That is very true. That is very true. And also, your snacks sound so adult and fancy.
When you reach a certain age, your blood sugar can only take so much. That's all I can say. Yeah. I want to know what Mack's snack attack is.
Oh.
You want to know what my go-to snack is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My go-to snack is pretty much just chips. I
Okay.
like a lot of chips, probably too much, but nacho cheese Doritos and barbecue Lay's are pretty much my favorite. I've
Okay.
fallen back in love with Cool Ranch Doritos.
So good.
I'm willing to die on the cheese nips are better than Cheez-Its hill.
Oh,
I will die
okay.
on that hill. So
I feel like I need to do a
Cheez-Its,
taste. I need to do a really prolonged taste test to decide where I stand on that one.
Yeah, I never had those.
that's
I
a good
never had
idea
cheese
for a
nips.
future episode.
We
Yeah,
can yeah,
cheese
exactly. We
versus
could
cheese.
Have you found it difficult to snack as a vegetarian?
Nope. Why do you think I'm just gonna like snack on meat or something? Think you like
Well, to be fair, Ashley wrote the
nibble?
question, and
Well, I was just
I
curious.
had doubts putting it on there, but
I was just
No, no,
thinking.
no, no. Carbs are thankfully vegetarian friendly, so they're and so is sugar. Okay, here's a confession though. Gummy bears technically are not vegetarian.
Ah,
They're not. They have not. I mean, some of them are not vegetarian because they have gelatin in them, and gelatin come from horses. So yeah.
oh,
So
really?
sometimes I look for gelatin-free gummies, and sometimes I'm a really bad vegetarian.
How long have you been a vegetarian for?
More than 20 years. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
22, 23 years. Yeah.
That's crazy. Is it sometimes hard when like you go to like social events? Oh, back in the before time, and like there's just nothing but meat.
Yeah, sometimes it's gotten better over the years. There's more people who are, if not vegetarian, at least try to eat more of like a plant-based diet. So it's gotten a lot easier. But I remember I went to my 10-year high school reunion. It's the only one I ever went to because it was more than enough. But I went with Corey, I took him, and we paid this like extraordinary amount of money for tickets, which was stupid. And then all we could eat were dinner rolls and iceberg lettuce salad. And I'm still mad about that. I think if anything, it's sometimes harder at like family events because my family is definitely not vegetarian and they're not always very sympathetic to being vegetarian. So I'll save it. There's a good story that I'll save for another day about the great baked bean controversy of 2000. I think it's 2003. Yeah, caused
Oh,
dramatic family rifts.
over baked beans.
Yeah, well, baked beans traditionally have bacon in them, so we'll just leave it at that. But that's not a snack. We're getting off track here.
no, no, that's fine. It's
Yeah,
food.
it's food.
Yeah, all food. So now that we've asked some questions, I think it's time we move into the rapid fire segment
Woo! I'm
of the
All right,
excited.
podcast.
all right.
I want to
So
ask the
I think
first
I'm ready.
one.
go
Okay,
ahead.
All right. Postmates or DoorDash?
Postmates,
Skittles or M&Ms?
M&Ms, definitely.
What's the best candy bar?
Snickers. No, wait, Twix. Sorry, Twix. Can I change my
All right,
answer?
that was the right. Yes, that was the right
Twix.
answer. You can change it
Twix.
to the
My
correct
brain
answer. That is correct.
short-circuited. Always Twix.
What is the best place to buy snacks?
Target, followed by Costco.
The Co-op or Trader Joe's?
Don't make me choose. Trader Joe's for value. Trader Joe's for value.
Crinkle cut fries or curly?
Crinkle cut. Did I
Can you
disappoint
change your
you, Mac?
answer?
I think I just disappointed you.
Can you change your answer, please?
It depends. You want me to be honest?
Oh, I know. All right, all right. How about
Okay.
cereal for dinner?
Absolutely. That's the best dinner ever. We have cereal dinner nights at this house. Like it's a cereal for dinner kind of night. That's like a thing.
Okay,
love
this
that.
one's very important, and there is a right answer. Pancakes, waffles, or French toast?
Pancakes? Did I
That's
fail?
incorrect. I'm sorry.
Okay. For me, it would be pancakes or French toast would be a close second. Waffles are okay. I need a better place to get waffles. Like sometimes I feel like wherever I get waffles, they're not very good. So I
That's
feel
the
like
point. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I'm disappointed by waffles too much. I want them to be
But
better than they.
But if you find a place that makes decent waffles, or you find like a good recipe to make waffles, I think the perfect waffles better than pancakes or French
Okay.
toast.
Okay. Fair enough.
Oh, and
You're-
then brunch or Brenner?
Brunch. I'm a brunch person.
Can we go
So
back
am
to
I.
the waffle thing? How do you guys feel about Eggos? I'm sorry, I need to know.
I actually love Eggos, even though they're really they're kind of disgusting, but they're such a just nostalgic. Pull them from the freezer. I like to make them really super toasty. The toastier the better. And then I like to put a lot of like peanut butter or almond butter on them and almost eat them like toast. So glad you asked
Oh,
that.
I was just thinking that because I wanted to
They're,
ask
ve-
Mac too.
they're very bottom barrel, but they're still good for grab and go.
Oh my god, yes. Or toaster strudel and Pop Tarts. We should have asked you that. Actually, yeah, toaster strudel or Pop Tarts. There you go.
Pop-Tarts.
Yes.
Ooh, another wrong answer. Man,
Really?
that's
Okay,
yeah,
this
we're gonna
might
have
be
to.
this might be a generational thing though, because I don't know if toaster strudel was like that prolific when I was a kid. This might be just me showing my age with the Pop-Tarts.
Nah.
I'm sure with time we will find out.
Yes, I can't wait until you're old and then people clown you for your snack choices.
People clown me every day of my life. I don't need to wait to get old
Mac,
for that.
you clown me every day.
That's not a true
It's
statement.
different though, you guys. When it's the young people clowning you, you'll know what I'm talking about.
All right, and on that note, I think it's time for us to wrap up our first episode of Snack Time with Mack and Ash. We want to say a big thank you to our friend and first ever guest of the show, Rachel Leibrock. Rachel, thanks for sitting down with us to talk about snacks today.
Thank you for having me. And by the way, my husband just brought me one of those cinnamon bears, and I wish that I could I'll show you guys, but I wish your listeners could see. Look how big they are. That's a reward for writing a sentence right there. So on that note, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. I love you guys.
We love you too, Rachel. But before we officially close this podcast, we do have to go over our food pun for the day.
And this pun was provided by my dad via the internet, and it goes a little something like this. Ow, I just got hit in the head with a soda. I'm glad it was a soft drink. And on that bombshell of a joke, it's time for us to say goodbye.
Thanks for joining us for our first ever episode. And make sure to join us for the next episode of Snack Time with Mack and Ash.